What up, peeps? It's your super sketch artist Antonio back, and this time I am doing something different. This is a new segment that I'm calling Run It Back. Now, we know that in the Heroclix community, we have these things called legacy cards, and this segment is meant to give you my ideas and my thoughts on a piece that we should run back, that we need another go at. It could be a piece that we thought was great and maybe needed some tweaks, or it could be a piece that came stumbling out of the gate, or it could just be a piece that me as a comic book lover just thought was completely wrong with, the attempt. So with that being the case, let's get going. Our first person up that needs to be run back is none other than 062 Thor. Now, this is one of the most beautiful sculpts in the game. Hands down, one of the best sculpts they've ever made. 1000%. This is a chase worthy sculpt. 1000%. The issue with this figure is not the sculpt. It is what is on the dial. And OMG. So first off, he has Asgardian, Cosmic Deity, Herald, and Ruler keyword. So one keyword I think Thor should always have is Warrior, because at his heart, no matter what, Thor is going to get to scrapping. He's going to be a warrior. So I think Thor should always be a warrior. What that also does is it gives him access to the +1 long sword. But again, Thor is a warrior, so he should always have warrior. Another thing, I do like that he has Herald, so that he can possibly get some of the gods and entities that I'm sure we're probably going to get in the war, or not war, I'm about to say Warlight, but in the Lantern Legacy set. But again, this Thor, what do I like about him? I really like the fact that he has 9 range. This is Thor with as the Herald of Galactus. That's why he has the Herald keyword. This is the Herald of Galactus, Thor. So he has the Cosmic Energy team ability, which again I love. Again, this is a perfect rendition of what he's supposed to be. Now he starts with when Thor clears 2 action tokens, give him a power cosmic token. Now my arrow with that is, if you are a good D6 roller, like single D6 roller, like I tend to be in my games, he's never going to be clear. Even when he has those 2 tokens, I'm always going to roll willpower, because at his top dial, which is 300 points, he's 300, 200, and 100. I'm more than likely always going to want him to be doing something. Even at his lowest points, for 100 points, I want him to be on the field doing something. So I think that was counterintuitive. So I would have that just taken away, or I would have it reworded, which is, when Thor has 2 action tokens, give him a power cosmic token. Because what that does is it allows him to have the action tokens, or what you can do is you can say at the beginning of your turn, if Thor has 2 action tokens, give him a power cosmic token. What that does is you can allow him to go at the beginning of the turn, since all things at the beginning of the turn is dictated by the active player. I would then be able to give him that power cosmic token and then roll my willpower that's granted through cosmic energy and take the token off of him potentially, but still gaining the power cosmic token, which is some of the stuff that's put into his dial. That's part of his points, is that trait. So another thing that I like that he does, he has charge. He has a special power on his first, what's that, 4 clicks, that gives him charge, running shot, and sidestep. So tons of versatility. I love that he has improved targeting, where he can shoot while adjacent, and he can see through hindering as well. So you can't hide from them. You always want that on one of your big range pieces, for them to not be hindered by hindering terrain. So I love that about him. So I would actually keep that. I would actually add, since he is a cosmic character, I would probably add, and I know this is probably very, very like taboo, but I would probably add like either elevated or characters, one of the two, for him to have the improved targeting as well. This is a cosmic powered Thor. So think about how strong Thor is, but now you give him more power on top of that. That's one of my big gripes when it comes to power up figures or splice type of figures. If you're already strong, you should be even stronger when you get a power up. So Thor is already one of the heavy hitters in Marvel. So when you give it, when Galactus gives him some power, which is who gave him, who he's a herald of, um, that should do something. So another thing that he has on his later dial is it says Thor has an additional target for each power cosmic token he has. When Thor hits 3 or more characters, instead of normal damage, each hit character is dealt damage equal to his printed damage value. Again, if you roll dice well, then you won't ever gain those cosmic energy tokens or those power cosmic tokens if you just roll well on your d6 rolls, on your willpower rolls, because again, you want him to be going no matter what point value he's at. But I do like that he does, gain those. It makes his improved targeting great because even if he's next to somebody, he can still shoot multiple targets. But he won't be able to do that if he keeps rolling his willpower. So the change that I would implement for him earlier, that would absolutely help with this. I think the new Thor also does a thing where he places Mjolnir somewhere and he hits everybody that's adjacent to it for whatever his base damage is. Again, it's great. And this is great too because that means he's either dealing 5 or 4 damage. Another thing that I would also, me personally, I like my big people to be able to heal in some kind of way. So I would probably want to add some kind of steel energy somewhere on his dial, from range or close, something like that. Again, this is a cosmic powered Thor. Another thing that he does on defense, he has a stop click that says toughness. So full stop right there. No way in God's green earth should a cosmic powered Thor just have toughness. You should at least have invuln, at least, or in this case, have impervious. This comes to my other issue with this figure. He has impervious and invuln all throughout his dial. He has not one click of invincible. Now, I know this is probably when they were benching powers, and it's unfortunate because this is a beautiful sculpt. This is a what we would call $100 sculpt in a $10 dial. Now, this dial is, again, one added thing to that trait that he has could be Thor reduces penetrating damage, chef's kiss. Now, even on that stop click, if you kept the toughness, now he won't die while hitting a mystic character. He won't, any of this different things. He won't be able to be psychic blast or exploit weakness to death because in today's game, especially, even when he came out, psychic blast has always been around. Exploit weakness has always been around, even more now than it ever has been, if you ask me. And this piece will never see the field at full points because he can just be eaten through like a piece of Swiss cheese. And you should never be able to do that with a figure, again, that looks this majestic. And the rest of that trait or the rest of that power says when Thor targets a single opposing character before rolling, you may remove up to 3 power cosmic tokens to modify his damage by the amount of tokens removed. Again, the way that his dial plays right now, even if you play him at 100 points, he won't really have that many power cosmic tokens if you roll well, that is, if you roll well. Another thing that I would do is, and based on, look at this sculpt. What's one thing on this sculpt that is not represented at all are the 2 ravens. Now, we just got not one, but 2 Odins in the Black Panther set, that the legacy card and the chase that have the bystanders that he makes. Thor should also have access to those bystanders because if you actually read the story, they did a lot of stuff and they were always by his side. So just the same way that they worked for Odin, they worked for Thor as well. So I would also make it so that he has those bystanders. He makes those bystanders, even if he just makes the bystanders on the stop click. He should have access to these ravens. They are an integral part of having the Odin Force, which he also has in this form. So he has Power Cosmic and he has the Odin Force, which I think he ended up calling the Thor Force, but the Odin Force at this time is called the Odin Force, and he had Cosmic Energy. So with that being the case, I wouldn't add any more life to him because he already lives for 10 clicks and he does have a stop click. In the The current game now, he would be able to get Mjolnir for free. So that would allow him to his running shot, which is already a 12 with the sidestep. So instead of the six movement, sidestep 2, Mjolnir gives him giant reach 3. He can, at 300 points, he can get almost across the map and hurt somebody for 6 damage. The issue is the moment that someone shoots him right now, more than likely, especially with the universal weapon being such a big thing, they're going to eat through that 19. That 19 is nothing with the average attack that most people can get being a 13 in any kind of competitive, even friendly games. So, with that being the case, this is who I would run back. So, what say you? What do you think of this piece? What do you think of the augmentations that I did? Do you think that you would add something? What would you add? And also, what figure would you run back? Please let me know in the comments. I love talking Heroclix. I love knowing what people think. And leave a suggestion of a figure that you would like to see me run back. I got a list of figures that I want to do because since there's tons of figures that come out, there's always tons of figures that I think should be a little bit better. With that being the case, it is your super sketch artist, Antonio. Thank you for watching. As always, be good to yourself, be good to others, go be super.